Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening. And today our topic is what is a Dharma teacher? What kind of qualities you require for the Dharma teacher? And how many levels Dharma teacher exist, can be. So that is our topic today. You guys might thinking there's a lot of requirements, incredible, so many qualities to be a teacher. So you might thinking that. But for your surprising today, what I'm trying to talk is today, I'm saying anyone can be Dharma teacher if you want to. Okay? So that's I'm going to talk today. But also, if we think and talk more deeper level, then also you have to be Dharma teacher if you care about long-lasting well-being, liberation. There is no other option. So that's I'm going to talk today. Okay, that does not mean there is no qualities required to be Dharma teacher either. So that means today's our main topic is my main target is you guys, everybody are free from two extremes. You're not falling from two extremes. Because that usually happens. Some people's mind, I will never be Dharma teacher. That's not possible. And some people's mind, oh, to be Dharma teacher is too easy. I want to do it. My ego say, I have to be Dharma teacher. I can be Dharma teacher. My ego say. That's one extreme. The other is, I never be Dharma teacher. That's another extreme. So tonight, we look carefully and how we free from these two extremes. Because these two extremes is not the reality. The reality is the middle. That means anybody can be if you want to. So be flexible mind. Prepare a flexible mind. Also, another unflexible mind say, Dharma teacher or non-Dharma teacher. Only two things, two. Like black and white, the red, purple, blue, yellow, all many colors not exist. Only have to be, if it's a color, can have to be black and white. That kind of mind have to be teacher, can be teacher or cannot. That's it. That also is unflexible mind, judging wrongly, like if the color must be black or white that way. So we have to free from that. Free from that. Why? Because Dharma teachers also can be many, many levels, not just one. At the levels also are progressive steps. Is not someone can never go this level, then this level. Never be like that. Therefore, prepare and flexible mind. Anything, if we have a flexible mind, then we're going to be success to understand and to accomplish anything. But if unflexible mind is, we call neurosis. Neurosis is in nyomoba. In Tibetan called nyomoba, in Pali called klashya, klashi or something. So that is the all defilement. Everybody's problem. Boil down is unflexible mind. So therefore, we have to be careful of unflexible mind. Okay. Prepare after that, then what I say, how many qualities teacher need? Stable, flexible, focus, ethical, tolerance, diligent, compassionate, loving nature, kind, wise, skillful, and especially you want to be teacher, you need have a good communication. I have to say again, you have to have a good communication. These 10, 11, 12 qualities Dharma teacher need. Okay, say again. Stable mind, flexible mind, ethical mind, discipline, tolerance, diligent, knowledgeable, compassionate, loving, kind, wise, skillful, good communication. Let's say 12 qualities. That I talking about teacher in general, not specifically Sutrayana, not specifically Tantrayana, or need. Generalization of teacher quality for everyone need these qualities. Okay? Then some of you saying, oh, there's so many. Maybe I don't have it. Don't think that way. Why? Because you have it. Everybody have it. Everybody has. The only difference is only degrees. The only differences are degrees, but everybody has. Okay, remember that. And then everybody has means everybody has the perfect, the ultimate perfect quality of everything. Inherently you have it. There is many reasons and science we have it, but that we have no time to talk today. So prepare the mind. I have these qualities. Some have high degree, some of them a lower degree. So the lower degree one, I can rise up more. Think that. And then some of you thinking, oh, to be qualified teacher, Dharma teacher, is have to be monastic person, have to be monk or nun. Lay person cannot be Dharma teacher. You may think in that. So I say is wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Why is it wrong? I have to tell you this, not just I say wrong. That's not good enough. The reason why is it wrong, I have to tell you. Because when we say monastic lifestyle, means a patimoksha emphasize a particularly samorsakav lifestyle. So that means when we look at the whole spiritual path, the universal spiritual path, you don't have to be monk or nun. Not only that, but if we look at it, the Buddhist big scarf, you don't have to be monk or nun either. Why? I have to tell you reason. The reason is patimokshal path means monks, nuns belong to the patimokshal path, the lifestyle, and their system is patimokshal path. So patimokshal means, a Sanskrit word, means individual liberation path. Okay? So what does that mean? That means you take responsibility, you interest in take responsibility yourself, liberate from samsara. You not take responsibility to liberate sentient beings. Very clear. It's very practical. Sounds practical, but reality not really practical. But that detail we don't talk today, is too much. But you see, is small scarf. Okay? So firstly, a small scarf. Secondly, we call Hinayana, that part. It traditionally called Hinayana. Nowadays, people don't call Hinayana because politically not correct. Okay? Hinayana means less vehicle. Why is less vehicle? Because you not take responsible sentient beings together. You want to liberate yourself. That's why. So when you're from the beginning, your intention is this, then you cannot, anything you cannot expand, because all spiritual path began by your intention and motivation. The core Dharma, core is your intention and your motivation. So your motivation already limited. Is similar if your family and you together are danger, you just don't care your family and you escape by yourself. It's kind of similar. I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying it is reality. Okay? So this is, that's why the rules very strict and the rules more black and white, more rigid. I'm not criticizing, okay? I'm comparing. And then Bodhisattva path. Other option, you have the Bodhisattva path. You can say Mahayana path. That one is the rules are more flexible. Rules become more flexible. Why do you think? Because we all know when you making the rules for children, you make very strict and black and white because they don't understand the flexibilities. They're going to confuse. Same thing, Hinayana way, Patimoksha way is strict and rigid. And Mahayana, flexible. Then you come to the Vajrayana, much more flexible. Why? Because the maturity part, the part of maturity. This is not criticism, and you cannot criticize. Is good parents making rules for children? You can't criticize, can you? Same thing, Buddha made a different paths, at different levels, ability. Therefore, so that means this path, if you are really dedicated, then you have to be monk or nun. But the Bodhisattva way path, even you dedicated, you don't have to be monk or nun, because is more skills, more flexibility. More flexibility because of more skills. That's why. The same thing comes to the Vajrayana. Vajrayana becomes, everything becomes a part, therefore is incredible, how do you say, imagine part. The only reason, because the maturity.
Elnézést, nem volt internetem, megszakadt.
Okay?
Rendben van.
So only that reason.
Ez az egyedüli oka.
Timmy? Yeah, sorry, Timmy, you're not on the Hungarian channel somehow.
Oh, bocsánat.
Okay.
So therefore, you can look at even the pictures. Even you look at the Buddha picture. No hairs, no jewelry, only wear robes from rubbish heap. And then you look at the Bodhisattvas, they have beautiful clothes and wearing jewelry and ornaments. You may confuse why, because, oh, Buddha is higher than Bodhisattvas, but he only allowed wear rubbish heaps. And Bodhisattvas have ornaments and everything, long hair, everything. Why? Buddha even have to shave the hair. All Buddha's disciples, the Shravakas, Patyakas, all have to shave the hair. Why? Because Buddha meant to be high, right? So that means the Buddha who set in the example for the Hinayana path, another way we say Theravada path, that is only emanation Buddha. If you want a real Buddha, then it's Kalachagra, like that. So Bodhisattvas are Bodhisattvas. They are not Buddha yet, but if they have emanations, then like can be animal or can be anything. So different levels of emanations. So you cannot compare Buddha's lower emanation and real bodhisattva, you cannot compare. Maybe this is a little bit complicated for you, but don't worry now. But what I'm trying to tell you here, to be Dharma teacher, you don't have to be a monk or nun. And also, to be a Dharma teacher, you do not have to be Tantrayana master. You don't have to be Mahayana master. Whole life vegetarian, not even eating onion, garlic, many stuffs. You don't have to be that. Why? I tell you the reason. You reasons know, slowly you know. But today I want to tell you is, because you can be many levels of Dharma teacher, not just absolute or nothing. You don't have to be that, because you can be many levels. Whatever your level, you can be that Dharma teacher. Okay? Then, why is it so important to be Dharma teacher? Try to fit in everybody and fit in. Why is so important? The reason is the whole world problem is not enough knowing the Dharma, not enough practice Dharma. That's all. It's not about the money, not about the planet too small, all these external little problems, or they come from not enough Dharma. That's why. That's why it's so important to be Dharma teacher, to have many Dharma teachers as possible. I can tell you one reason, for example, the Jonaba tradition, for instance, are one of the major tradition in Tibetan. Tens of thousands of monks there. Few 100,000 lay people there, followers. Is anybody teaching in English, a Jonang tradition? How many? In the West. West means many countries, many Europe countries, South America, North America, South Africa, Australia. How many Jonang teachers do you know? Some people told me, only me. Only me. But I believe there's some people, but I don't know. I know there's a few monks. I hope they're teaching, but they told me they cannot speak English. I don't know why, because they are still longer than me. I mean, they longer than me to the West, to more chance to study English more than me, some of them. Some of them same as me. They're humbling, telling me not truth, or they're really not teaching, I don't know. But you guys must be know. Is there anybody internet teaching? For instance, this is one example how rare the Dharma teachers in the world. You may think, oh, not really, it's so many in YouTube, you know, so many in the internet. But if we compare a Jonaba, because the Jonabas has the really unique teachers. Nobody has. So that can offer to the world. Why I'm saying unique? Because the source of golden age, this teaching, that's why I'm saying unique. We need perfect golden age world. We don't need anything else. That source as Jonaba hold, but nothing's coming outside. Very rare. So therefore, we need everybody try to be a Dharma teacher. Really, really important. Okay, so now, remember how many qualities of a Dharma teacher. We talk about 12 qualities. Can reduce these qualities? Yes, you can. Yes, you can means you really have to be focused, ethical, wise, compassionate. Only 4 qualities can be Dharma teacher. Okay, I say focus, ethical, wise, and compassionate. Why 4 you can be Dharma teacher? Or 4 means, 4 quality means lower Dharma teachers, and the 12 quality means high Dharma teachers? No. The answer is no. Because if you have these 4 qualities, the other qualities you haven't. You cannot not have the other qualities if you have these 4 qualities. Therefore, you need only 4 qualities. Not only 4 qualities, even 1 quality possible. Can you believe that? That is, guess, is we can say compassionate, or we can say really loving nature. Compassion and love is one entity, 2 aspects. So therefore, they cannot separate. Somebody have incredible compassion but no love. Somebody have incredible love in nature but no compassion. Impossible. Okay? Therefore, I say 1 quality. good enough. Why I say this? Usually people think, oh, to be teacher, I have to be very scholar, incredible knowledge. That is wrong. Why I'm saying wrong? I'm not saying no need knowledge. When we talk 12 qualities, the knowledge, remember one of them. Yes, the knowledge does help to be a Dharma teacher. But the main quality as a loving, compassionate person. Do you know why? I tell you reason. Your knowledge only can be in the head, only calculation. But everybody need that, your calculation? The answer is no. Not everybody need calculation and very precise calculation. That's not everybody need. You know what everybody need? Everybody need a beloved. Everybody need a care. Anybody can deny that? The answer is you can't deny. Care means compassion. Beloved means loving nature. Everybody need beloved. Why? Because they had a loving nature. Even not on the surface, there is hidden. Everybody needed care. Everybody care about compassion. Even they are not appears as compassionate, they still evaluate who has compassion, who they still value the who has compassion. Why? That means your compassionate quality is not on the surface, but in the hidden. Hidden means your sacred truth, your Buddha nature. Buddhist language, Buddhist terms, we call Buddha nature. But you can call anything. As long as perfect, ultimate perfection is within you. So everybody else, so they need that. Why everybody craving love and craving care? Because of that. You have plenty money in the bank and you have credit card, you can buy anything in fingertips. You think you don't need care, but that's temporary. Very, very temporary. Sooner or later you realize you need. So that's why if someone have that quality, then the other qualities are naturally gathers. The other 12 qualities are naturally gathering. Okay? Therefore, I'm saying to be teacher, you need a compassionate quality. Okay. If you have this single quality, the all others you can develop. While you developing, you still can help others on the way. That's why we can call you Dharma teacher. Why? Because all Dharma, this 84,000 or whatever we call this innumerable Dharma aspects, they boil down, come to the compassion. Why? Because when you have a perfect compassion, there is no possible no wisdom. The wisdom and compassion are married forever. Maybe this you understand language. They are married forever, inseparable married. So that's why you may appear very compassionate but not wise, but that's temporary. That means your compassion also must be some limitation. But if you will develop the limit, you will free from this limitation, the wisdom there. You unveiled, you discovered, because they are never separated. Only one is appear, one is more hidden. Only like that. Okay? So therefore, that means to be Dharma teacher, you need only one quality, compassionate, which means I show you how. Your intention to be Dharma teacher is have to be benefits others. If your attention, I want to be Dharma teacher, not for benefit other people, but my ego said, if you are Dharma teacher, oh, you are a great Dharma teacher, huh? Oh, then is nice. Only the reason you want to be Dharma teacher, you will not success. Because only ego said. But if you want to be Dharma teacher to benefit others, if that reason doesn't matter how you are limited now, you will be Dharma teacher. Why? Because Buddha nature said it, not ego said. You understand? Ego said means ego say always, me is the important. Me as the center of universe, the others mine. They are my students, my followers, mine. I want to gather followers for me. That's ego say. Ego said that. If you follow ego, you will not success because not genuine. Not genuine means not matched the absolute reality. But the Buddha nature, if it comes from Buddha nature, you want to liberate sentient beings because you understand that they don't need to suffer, just like myself. because the other is so big, I'm just only one. If you feel like that, that means Buddha nature come from your Buddha nature. Therefore, you will be success to be Dharma teacher, regardless your other qualities, because they comes naturally. You get it? Okay. So, also I have to clarify here. Sometimes people misunderstand. I'm saying, oh, I have to help other beings. I have to help beings. And you try to do something and, like physically, and you're doing something, and or worry for others and like these things. And then you make fragile yourself, exhaust yourself or fragile yourself. That is not. That means whatever you need to be stronger. You can do that. That's not selfish, okay? Why? Because as long as your intention to benefit other beings, it looks everything you do for yourself every day. But that's only on the surface. On the surface, you doing yourself, you eating very, what do you call, healthy food, you exercise, you do everything, take care of yourself. Very much. Looks like you don't care others. But your intention to help others, because you understand the others no need suffer. Everybody needs liberation. If you are like that in your mind, you're deep down like this, doesn't matter. Or you prepare good things for yourself, you prepare for them. You're preparing for them. So that's why main focus, your intention. Even if you are naturally, you want to help sentient beings, liberate sentient beings, that's incredible, priceless gift for you. But even you're not quite that mind, but you have to train your mind this way, okay? If you do, then you have to take care of yourself first. You have to make very strong for yourself. You are not emotionally fragile, not intellectually fragile, not physically fragile. You have to make very strong yourself to intention to help others, intention to liberate others. You don't have to be hurry up. You don't have to hurry up. That's not important. Okay? You don't have to hurry up, help other people. Whenever you're ready to help other people, what level already you do that only. You get it? If you are that kind of person, you are perfect a Dharma teacher already, regardless your knowledge. Perfect means doesn't mean I'm saying you don't have to go further. You can go further, your knowledge and the other qualities, you can go further. But you have perfect, how do you say, core direction. Your core quality is already perfect. So that's why the other quality is easy to gather. You are already perfect middle path direction, not fallen extremes. So you have to do that. So if you don't do that, the opposite, oh, I want to gather knowledge, and study, and I can be superior than other people, or I can talk much better, I organize, I have to be everything perfect. Oh, you never be perfect. Never. Never. Why? Because the core is wrong. The core comes from ego, not Buddha nature. The mainstream is come from ego, not Buddha nature. Ego means selfish, self-centered illusion. Everything self-centered is illusion. Everything compassionate is come from Buddha nature. That's why absolute reality come from absolute reality. But only thing, be careful. You are not emotionally, you don't go to extreme emotional compassion, okay? Why? The compassion is warrior nature. You're not scared. You develop this strength. That is real compassion, not the emotional sensitivity. The emotional sensitivity is only starting point of compassion. Someone have zero compassion, for them is very important to be sensitive. That means somebody very, very selfish person have children or something, then you have to sacrifice everything for yourself, for children. That a little bit help. Because you are extreme selfish before. Your children, you cannot do that, like it's very difficult. But as long as you're not too much emotional compassion, then, and the possessive loving, you have to free from possessiveness. True woman nature, woman loving nature. And then this strong warrior in your heart, compassion. Then you are always a direction, the great direction, middle path, or other qualities just follow you, follow along you. So we need that, okay? That means anybody like that, you can be teacher, and then you can be first level of teacher, and then you can be better and better knowledge and better experience and everything. Then you can become better and better teacher. Okay? So don't discourage it. I'm lay person, I cannot be teacher. Or I'm not scholar, I cannot be teacher. I'm not very good knowledgeable, I'm not good calculator. All these things. Don't think about this. Can you have motivation to help others? It doesn't mean you immediately have to do. Can you prepare yourself to liberate other people? Can you or cannot? If you say, your ego say, oh no, you cannot, then you cannot. Otherwise, you can. Then you can become better, okay? Another thing I want to tell you is, what are the obstacles to be a teacher? Oh, when you become the teacher, other people respect, then you have your ego again try to attack you. That time you have to think, I am not teacher. I am servant. I serve my Dharma. I'm not commending my teaching. I'm not commender. I am servant. This is the truth. The teacher we call, but is actually we are servant. We servant all sentient beings. We serve sentient beings. We facilitate to liberate sentient beings. So we are servant. This is, you have to be careful. Some people even just before other people respect, just reading some books and learning some knowledge and calculations, and they think, oh, I am much more superior. Oh, you have bad karma. Already wrong. Already wrong. You lost the path. That you have to be careful. Okay? But I am servant. I love to serve sentient beings. Then is a perfect path. Why? Because when you sentient beings serve, doesn't mean you are wanting out. It's not. When you have serve sentient beings and you have joy in your heart to serve sentient beings, means you are continuously strengthening yourself too. It is natural law. If we focus, serve sentient beings, naturally strengthen yourself. But if we focus self-centeredness and then you want it out, that's natural law. That's you have to understand. Also, you are teacher of instructor. You have a lot of knowledge and familiarization, so you can help a lot of people, and you don't have huge ego, and you have some joy to do this, and your intention to help others. That's really good. But that doesn't mean you are master yet. Okay? So to be master, you given empowerment, Peter instructions. To be a master, a lot of requirements. Okay? That's a lot of requirements. The highest requirements, if I say briefly, you have to accomplish what the texts say. Usually people misunderstand it. People think, oh, this is high Dharma practice. People, oh, I want to go. I want to participate. I want. Because they think, how is wonderful, and the text say, I'm going to accomplish. No, you're not going to. No possible. Accomplishment is incredible merit from the past lives, and then the present, so much incredible dedication, gathering millions good qualities. Don't have to do that. I think in the West, you achieved so many things scientific discovery and the business and lifestyle and many things you achieve so much. So you become kind of a little bit pride, arrogant. So you think, oh, spiritual path also you can do that way. No, spiritual path, you cannot go that way. You cannot achieve this way. You have to be almost the opposite. Have to be humble, egoless, and compassionate. The material world, you going to be loser if you try to do that, right? So it's not that. The real loser is that, and real accomplishment come from the humbleness and compassionate servant. Okay, so the highest master means you accomplished everything what the text say, but that's we almost never seen in this earth. The medium is at least the Yidam, deity, and the master said you can do this, you should do this, empowerment or whatever. That's medium quality. The lower quality requirements, at least you understand perfectly all the instructions and you practice, try a long time, the requirements, each one, many years, and that kind of, then also others, include your master, your lama, permit you, the others genuinely request you, then only you can. These ones a lot of requirement. But to help others to be teacher, you don't have to go that far yet. You can, think of this. How big is the universe? Think about that. How many galaxies in this universe? Do we know everything? No way. But still, our scientists, our science know a lot, enormous they're knowing, enormous discovering. But still, they don't know everything. The same thing, Dharma, you have to think that. Dharma is like that. That's why sometimes you guys think, oh, maybe some people think, oh, I cannot go empowerment because I'm not good enough. That's wrong. Some people think, oh, I don't have to go empowerment because I already done. That's also wrong. Okay, why? Because scientists they dedicate a whole life study science. Do they say, oh, I don't need to study any more science? Do they say that? Stephen Hawking, he ever say, no need to study more? He said the opposite, right? But somebody ignorant person can think, oh, Stephen, if he knows science, why he can't fix himself? They could think like that. How ridiculous is, that means nothing or everything. It's not. Dharma is not like that. Dharma is always you have chance to study. How doesn't matter how you are limited, how you are weak, as small as begin. And also, doesn't matter how you are study, incredible scholar, doesn't matter, you are nothing. That means like our top scientists' knowledge is nothing compared to the whole universe. It's like that. So have to think of that way, Dharma, okay? But we still can study science in primary school. Primary school children, they can study science as much as they can. Same thing, Dharma, anybody can learn. Because Dharma is something helping your own existence, not something else, something else you have to find somewhere else. Okay? So that's why. Dharma teacher also, as long as you have this compassionate intention, then you can help others. Why? Because that helps a lot. Why? I told you before, but I say again, everybody needs this. Everybody needs to be loved, be cared, and trust. At least they need trust. So that means if you can trust somebody in this universe, 100%, that's you can think you're Dharma teacher. How many people you trust 100%? Think about how many people on this earth, how many you trust? Is real? If it's real, somebody is real, you could think Dharma teacher. When we're talking about the Dharma qualities of the teachers, many things in the text say, that we're talking about generalization. But reality is the student, the disciple, and the teacher relationship is a personal. That means somebody is not qualified the general qualifications, but is perfect for somebody. That means this person's definitely teacher is this. This teacher is more precious than Buddha for them, but not for everybody. Think of that. Another way, somebody is incredible qualified, the general qualifications perfect, and so many people find incredible respectful. But for few individuals, they don't. That means they don't have karmic connection. They have unfortunate, So the teacher and student also individual as well. You have to think two things, in general qualification or individual connection, both. If you have a both, that is the brilliant. Okay, the short version, anybody can be teacher as long as your reason, your intention, your motivation to help others, then anybody slowly, gradually become a teacher. But somebody incredible knowledge, but incredible discipline, but the intention is follow self-centered ego, you never be teacher. Even you be your followers, you take wrong path. It's not benefit. So just remember that. And then many levels of teacher can be. And then sometimes we have to say we are servant, not teacher. I'm an instructor or I'm a servant. If your ego attacking you, think that way. Then is that it makes the success your path, your career, your job, your teaching activity. The other high levels can be in your hand. It will be your hand if you take that not extremes and the middle path. Okay, so if you have questions, then you can feel free to ask. And if you have disagreement or some kind of arguments, also welcome. Okay? Anything not clear?
Okay, we already have some questions, Rinpoche. For anybody on Facebook, you can add a question in the comment, and if you're on Zoom, you can add it to the Q&A. This is a really good time to ask any questions you may have about qualifications of someone teaching meditation, the Kala Chakra Nondro, Tantra, anything that you still have doubt or concern around. It's a good thing to ask. So the first question, Rinpoche, is how can a prospective teacher be sure not to distort certain aspects of Buddhism or bring in his own perspective that a realized master would present differently?
I didn't understand. Can you simplify?
How do we make sure that we don't add our own perspective to the teaching? Like, they're basically concerned that if somebody didn't have as much realization as a realized master, they may not teach it correctly, or they may distort the teaching.
Oh. Okay. So, as I said, if you have intention to help others, your core motivation is help others. Remember, help others means the best help yourself. Okay? You don't worry about it. If there is no other way, best help yourself, basically. All others we focus on ourselves is temporary benefits. There's no long-term benefit at all. So that's why if you're doing these things, even your knowledge is limited. Even you did some your perspective, putting in when is necessary, is not going to be wrong. Not going to be wrong. That's why, in general, you try to not put your own perspectives until you know the old Buddhism. But after you knowing the Buddhism written, then you can put your own perspectives. Why? Because Buddha himself say you challenge Buddha's teachings, not just simply literally take. That Buddha himself said. But until we have not that knowledge, yes, we can take literally. When you have limited knowledge, you take literally. And then you have more knowledge, you can put your perspective as well as option, not you deny the other one. That means the other people have chance to compare your perspective and the original and the written and the text. They can compare that. You give them opportunity. That's okay, no problem.
Rinpoche, would say a Dharma teacher need to realize Buddha nature in order to teach about Buddha nature? So could someone who's not experienced Buddha nature teach about it? Is that mandatory, the requirement?
Mandatory.
Required. Like
Require what?
they're asking, is it required for someone to have a direct experience of Buddha nature in order to teach about it?
Direct experience Buddha nature. You mean, like some people have only few seconds experience. Some people have few minutes. Some people have long time. It depends. But whatever experience is a good quality, require. If you just have a few seconds and then a few minutes, or then never had many years, that means not much. But if you have a regular experience, then that's incredible high quality. But it doesn't mean anybody have no direct experience cannot teach. You can teach in many ways. At least you intellectually is very clear for you. You can teach that level.
Okay. Suppose a teacher has very good basic knowledge and can explain a lot of things true to the lineage, but on a certain question, he does not answer this the same way as the lamas or the lineage because he has a different understanding of it. Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be terrible for the lineage?
Somebody, what do you say again?
So they're saying someone has some good knowledge, but they answer a question in a way to a student that isn't 100% match what the lineage says. So then they're wondering if that would be a terrible thing for the lineage.
You mean somebody has a good knowledge, but not perfect.
And so doesn't answer.
That is bad for lineage. That's it?
Yes.
Somebody have a perfect knowledge means at least you intellectually understand 100%, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't call perfect knowledge. Okay? If that, then he said, this is my intellectual understanding, and you explain the intellectually perfect knowledge, no problem. That doesn't harm any knowledge, the lineage. But this person only have lineage, the intellectual understanding, but no experience, no permission from the Lama, no practiced, the requirements, still you do perform empowerment or many other things, that is not so good.
Okay, I think the thing they're curious about, Rinpoche, is if they have good knowledge but not perfect, and they answer a question and they make a mistake, maybe it's not even all the way wrong, but maybe it's just a different answer than what the Lama might say. They're wondering if in that case it's a very bad result.
Depend what subject so important, just little important or incredible important, or depend the student how serious, the student how practice, it just depend many things. Just random student, random one question and couldn't care less after that. That things, even their mistake, a little mistake is not huge harm anywhere. But if, yeah, but I don't really see one just not 100% wrong, a little bit wrong answer harms incredible. It doesn't look like that. Why the other people cannot, they can realize maybe later on that was not right, and they can go other way. It's not big deal.
Okay. Rinpoche, can somebody become a Dharma teacher who doesn't have a guru or a lineage?
Depend your Dharma teacher. If you not thinking if you have zero like arrogant ego, anything, you only use as like your servant, and you have zero expectation, zero how to say pride, you only use as your servant, then it's no problem. You have no guru, no knowledge, no lineage, no problem. But if you claims hold something important teaching, substantial or traditional teaching, then you have no lineage, no guru in this life, then is not sure, not in general point of view, that's not good. But is you cannot say 100% stare, because if you are exception person, we don't know. The result tells the how benefits the student, that tells this as matter or not.
Okay, Rinpoche, can you elaborate on the role that trust plays on the path for a Dharma teacher? One second, the question just jumped. What does trust do for beings, for a Dharma teacher or ordinary teacher, or just on a personal level? Is this important?
Trust is simple. Everybody knows trust. Trust means, like, let's say, certain person, you have maybe certain trust. Like somebody you trust a good cook, but maybe not something else you don't trust. Maybe you don't trust a huge amount of money. You wouldn't trust this person, but you trust this person have good cook or whatever, good friends and companion or whatever. Or there are certain different trusts. But when I say Dharma teacher you trust, means you don't have to trust Dharma teacher as good cook or many other skills, but you trust something he not cheating you, he or she not going to cheat you, not disappoint you, something you how to say, you rely on, something you rely on, he or she, you don't have a doubt, betrayed you, the simple way. The other way, complicated way, you trust this is rare Dharma quality teacher, and you can rely on your enlightenment on that. When I say rely on, means facilitator, rely on, of course, the Dharma, whole Dharma, you have to practice yourself, but the facilitator, you are trust, like that.
Okay, Rinpoche, if someone's root master has already passed away and couldn't give the permission to his student while he was alive, how does that person know whether he or she is qualified to teach higher teachings?
Okay, so somebody's root master passed away, didn't have time to permit what?
So when that person's teacher was alive, they didn't give them permission to teach higher teachings, but now that teacher's gone. So they say, how would they know if they had permission then to teach higher teachings?
That's so obvious. You didn't have permission from him. So that's so obvious. But that doesn't mean that time, but that doesn't mean you will never qualify as a teacher. You can have another teacher and you can become a better, or you didn't have another teacher, but you practice and become better. And then yourself, or somebody, your other teacher permit your distance can be, yeah.
Okay, this is a little, can you talk about being a teacher while also being a student? Sometimes these seem to be two separate things of the part of the same whole. Do we resolve them, or do we keep them separate, or do we see them as together, being both a teacher and a student?
You mean one person?
One person. So I don't know for sure the intention, if it's the idea that sometimes when you teach, you also learn at the same time. And I don't know if
it doesn't
yeah.
mean you're a teacher, you are a teacher, means it doesn't mean you don't need to learn anything at all. It doesn't mean that. Or the teachers, they need to learn a lot. It doesn't mean until you become a Buddha, it doesn't mean you don't need to learn anything at all. So the teacher and student, you can be both, no problem.
Rinpoche, how do we develop the skill to teach each person at their own level and capacity of understanding?
When you have that love and care in your heart and you have the dedication, you gradually knows. I cannot tell you one word, or for everyone, this one you can use now.
Okay. Rinpoche, I find it hard to trust teachers fully. How would I learn to trust teachers or deal with that situation? I don't trust Dharma teachers 100%.
Yes, that's good question, honest question. Okay. It's very hard to trust teachers because there's many reasons. One is this culture, this modern culture, not trust anybody. You not trust anybody. Why? Because this culture emphasizes you are the most important and you can't trust anybody. That's, really teach us. Why? Because this culture is individualism, and everything you have PIN number, and that system, we are in this system. This directly or indirectly, you not trust anybody, because we are not community oriented, we are individualism oriented. And so the whole culture, not just Dharma teacher, you don't trust anybody. That's the problem. The second is there is so not qualified teachers. They try to be qualified. That's also problem. So everything becomes like business, business deal, negotiation or tricking, that kind of. That's why it's difficult to trust. So how you develop the trust? Better to not trust so fast. And this person's intention and dedication. You check carefully. no more worldly concerns, this teacher cares or not care. That means this teacher has self-indulgence or not. This teacher has so many, what do you call it, I forgot the words. Yeah, so many, I forgot the words. Like kin or queen, and like need incredible formality, and so many people have to take care over the top. There's so many things. It's not like human. Make everything, build a distant. This person doing this or not? So many worldly high things, if they require this teacher, then is a little bit doubtful. But these teachers, everything do is a human practical benefit. Then maybe you can trust. But that's just to give a little direction. It's very hard to, difficult to trust in skeptical way. If it's too skeptical, then you not trust anybody. That's the problem. So probably you have to go middle way. And the other important is even you don't trust 100%, everything you appreciate, whatever your experience, whatever you interact with anything, if you appreciate, then you never be the wrong path. Even you never become 100% trust. Probably that's the easy way, but the next coming days, my topic's Ngondo subject, I'm going to talk about this teacher and student relationship. I'm going to elaborate a lot. Usually people didn't elaborate this. So that time, probably, if anybody not join in this, if you can join, and then maybe you know more. That time, maybe we have hopefully everything clear. This is such big subject and such complicated. So I think we need a lot of time to discuss.
Okay, Rinpoche, since we just talked about worldly concerns, here is a question about worldly concerns. In the West, can we ask for it? It's often confusing. Some people request money for Dharma teachings. Other people don't request Dharma money to teach Dharma. If we teach Dharma, can we ask for money in return for teachings?
Okay. The culture, request money or not, is one is a culture. Some cultures, you no need ask any money because that culture give everything, offered everything for Dharma as much as they can. because that culture say if you don't do that, then you have no benefit from Dharma. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, okay? That culture said that. That's why people are doing this. So then you no need any money, anything for a request for that. And then some other culture saying, oh, this free means, oh, not so good, or cheap means also not so good. And then they don't see the value. So then better to have some kind of price. Perhaps that's why people are doing. But also you have to think about in the modern world, anything you do is cost. Nothing's free. Huh? Technology and many things, you know. In the past, you don't need, there's no such thing advertisement. Everything is you seeking, not, but in the modern time, you have to tell them we are available, we are organizing this. So that means many things cost. That's why there is no choice. But of course, anything have extremes. So that we don't know. We have to see individually. Yeah, it's not simple.
Rinpoche, you mentioned earlier that some teachers would have sort of like a karmic connection. Someone could have a karmic connection to a teacher. How would we know that we have a good karmic connection with the teacher?
It's easy to know. You trust, then you have karmic connection. If you don't trust, then you don't have karmic connection. That's simple way.
Okay. The rest of the questions have to do with the teacher training program. The details for the teacher training program will come out after the Kala Chakra empowerment, and we will start the teacher training program in the beginning of next year. We don't have details yet on exactly the length of time for it, but Rinpoche, would you speak a little bit on your flexible approach to teacher training?
Oh, okay. The teacher training, I will lead to the studies and the subjects, and then I tell my experience in how I become a teacher, how many teachers how I have experience. You guys think I have 25 teachers and so lucky and everybody spoon feed to me, but actually the opposite. So then I will tell you some things how you learn yourself. Some things necessarily you need teacher. Some things necessarily you do yourself is better. I got all of them to you, and then I look at your personality and your preference. Some people are very intellectual. Very intellectual ones. I can guard this way. Some people are not so intellectual, and then I got the suitable way. And yeah, so I'm not fixed on, oh, this is everybody have to do. I wouldn't do that. I do the individual's suitability. That's why I'm God. So I'm that way as flexible. because some people teaches intellectually from the brain, some people teaches from the heart, some people teaches emotionally, some people teaches by example, some people teaches yeah, many ways. So I can guide that way, and I can train this way. But this coming model teachings, the teacher, students, distance, we're going to teach details of next few weeks. So yeah, so that was also helpful if the anybody want attention to teaching program next year and join this one's probably helpful.
Yeah, for those of you who are interested in the teacher training program, two of the required teachings will be that you have attended Rinpoche's Nondro course, and also he is going to teach an introduction to Buddhism course towards the end of the year. And that is also important to attend because you need to be familiar with Rinpoche's teachings. The other thing that we do know is that currently we don't have the capacity to offer translators for all of the teacher training program. So the people participating need to be preferably bilingual and able to communicate with Rinpoche in English or Tibetan. If you are very passionate and would like to participate and don't speak either of those languages, you can still have the option, but you would need to arrange a translator yourself. Rinpoche, could you just speak for another moment about how you don't, since in the Nondro, you don't often assume that there's only one way to do the Nondro. So you've expressed previously that you don't see it as everybody does exactly one thing to become a teacher. Can you just kind of explain that different paces and people are in different spaces?
Yes, so there's multiple ways, multiple methods for anything. But when we don't know this, then we just use one method. We try to use for everybody, for any time, like, 13th century to 2021 is sometimes not working for everybody. So that's why people need a different culture, a different time, and different personality, different background. You need train different way that serve the purpose. So that's why I always look at the quality of the training, look quality of the practice rather than the quantity of the mantras, quantity of the chanting. I don't look at that. I look the quality, and then I see the culture. I see that the personality, and yeah. So the suitability of the individual, and so that's why I never believe is one way is only way.